I said, baby, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be hungry. Welcome to 3 AM Junk Food, where we talk about nerd movies, nerd TV shows. I'm Eric. This is my non-sexual partner, Antonio. And this week, what we're going to be talking to you guys about is called The Bad Batch. It's the newest Star Wars TV show on Disney+. Just dropped this week, the first 2 episodes. The first on May the 4th be with you. And the second was on Friday, which is when it will be normally releasing. So, yeah, Antonio, what do you got for him?
All right, so please don't get scared. Last video we did spoilers just right off the bat. It was random. Sorry about that. For this one, we're going to let you know that we're not going to do spoilers in the beginning. We're going to be good. Few-minute little episode. Make sure you cut it after that. And after that, we're going to talk about spoilers afterwards. Give you warnings. You don't have to commit for 30 or 40 or however long this video.
Before we start spoiling things.
You only got to commit for a few minutes, which you've already committed some, I suppose.
Like a minute already. Yeah. Hope we haven't scared you away in the first minute.
All right, we're going to go and get into this. So, so here we go.
All right. So the show, what it basically follows is a group of clones that are genetically mutated. They are called, I believe, it was like Task Force 99 or something like that. Squadron 99.
Clone Force 99, I believe.
Clone Force 99, but what they're colloquially known as the Bad Batch.
What does colloquially mean?
It's another word for like a phrase, like an idiom.
There you go, folks. All right, please continue.
That's fine. The more you know. Anyway, so what they are called by everybody else is the Bad Batch, as in they are the Bad Batch of clones. Yeah, so what did you think of the show?
All right, yeah, sorry, folks, try not to spoil anything, so we're going to try to, we'll see what happens. Okay, so this is why it's much different experience for Eric and I. So I've watched almost possibly every Star Wars film so far. I haven't read any of the books. I've seen The Mandalorian, some of it. Sorry, I haven't seen the whole thing. And I haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rebels. So this was a little bit more difficult for me because I'm having to kind of catch up. It's kind of exposition heavy, which is fine if you're already familiar with the Clone Wars and the prequels more. I haven't seen the prequels for, I don't even know when they came out, 20 years ago or 15, 20 years.
That was the last time you saw the prequels?
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm a very odd Star Wars fan. I typically only watch something once. Like, even the new sequels, the prequels, the whole thing, even the old movies I've only seen once. So it's a lot. It's kind of a mistake on my part because it makes this whole freaking Star Wars universe we got now way more difficult. But
they're gonna be popping them out.
Yeah, I know they're making money now. So I just saw a thing. Money. It was like I looked up Clone Wars. So it's like is Clone Wars popular? Or is it like a niche market? I didn't know.
Clone Wars is very popular.
Yeah, so I looked it up and it was like 167 million hits per day when Clone Wars season 7 came out. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like really late to the party here. So of course it's gonna anyway. So given that I'm not familiar enough right now. Yes, the first episode, an hour and 10 minutes. Was kind of difficult. So about 20 minutes in, I realized that I didn't know people's names. I didn't know quite what was happening. I was trying to like have a rough, but I was like, I'm reviewing the show. What do I do? Okay, so I have my phone and I just started writing down. Yeah. I started, okay, this person got it. This person got it. Okay, they're on this planet. All right. When did this happen? That's fine. I'll write it down anyway. So like, okay, so it actually helped.
So you didn't know the character names.
So obviously I knew Obi-Wan and Anakin and the stuff that we all know, but I just chose to not care too much about like all the political stuff that was going on in the prequels and who exactly is because before when I first watched Star Wars I was like, all right, there's good guys and there's bad guys, easy peasy. The Force dark side, no. In the prequels it's like here's this group and here's this political problem and now it's trading and all kind of crazy stuff that I could not keep up with.
Most people had a hard time with that part of Star Wars
but when you only watch something once, it makes it a lot more difficult. I'm still a Star Wars fan, but yes, I'm playing this game on hard right now.
Right. Well, so I will say that it is tougher if you haven't watched Clone Wars because the Bad Batch was actually introduced in season 7 of Clone Wars.
I cheated and I looked up season 7 to see like what what kind of titles it were. And like the first episode of season 7 is The Bad Batch.
Right, and it was more.
So I was like, oh, cool.
It was kind of a backdoor pilot.
I couldn't tell if this was the beginning of the Bad Batch story or not, just off of watching the show. But then luckily I saw, I was like, okay, so now when they're referencing these things that happen to these people, okay, this probably happened in the show.
Clone Wars, yeah.
So this would be awesome if I saw that.
There was some setup that happened in Clone Wars that I don't want to say it's like
because there were parts where like,
viewing,
oh, I got attacked, and I was like, oh crap, like did people watch him get attacked? Like, should I have seen that? Dang it. This guy's saying he's like messed up, and I'm like, oh crap, he's messed up.
Yeah, it's season 7 of Clone Wars kind of leads directly into this show. Let's see. Was that kind of all you wanted to say, or did you have more?
I don't want to spoil anything, so that's the main thing I wanted to hit on was if you're coming into this thing, because there's a lot of like casual viewers, like especially with all the Marvel stuff going on right now, all these huge universe things with all these different
Characters.
all these different sources of media that you can reference to have a better world view of this, universe view or whatever. I still enjoyed it, but it's more. It definitely complicates things. But yeah, go ahead.
It's complicated. If you haven't watched Clone Wars or any Star Wars, you're gonna have a tough time with this, and I'm just gonna be honest. But if you're like me, and you've watched Clone Wars, all the Star Wars movies multiple times.
Seen Rebels?
I've seen Rebels.
Oh yeah, it must be amazing for you.
I watched all of Rebels. For me,
I did still notice a lot.
Yes.
Even though I'm not familiar with Clone Wars, I was like, oh crap, that's from the prequels. This is from this thing.
Yeah.
There's certain parts of the first episode specifically, because we watched both episodes, and I was like, it was really cool. So I can only imagine it was a lot cooler I might go back and just watch all of the Clone Wars now.
So if you've watched Clone Wars and you've watched Rebels, this is like just amazing. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from. My perspective, I've watched all of it. I've watched all of Rebels. I've watched all of Clone Wars. I've watched all the movies. I've watched all of The Mandalorian. And what I can say is The Bad Batch feels like Mandalorian done in the Clone Wars art style. It has that kind of grittier, more warlike vibe, because it's about this small group, this small like tactical team of clones who are disliked by pretty much everybody. They're disliked by other clones. They're disliked by the other people who know that they're clones. They're like disliked by anybody. So they're really this really tight-knit group of clones that have banded together to make a name for themselves and basically just become a family. And that's really where you get one of the things that I like about the show the most is you get that interplay between the characters, and you get to understand just how really that's who they have is each other. So going into things a little bit more, I want to talk about the action a little bit.
Oh man. Well, just the visuals in general, I want to say.
Yeah.
I was blown away right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit frustrated, obviously, about my personal distractions, but man, I'm very impressed with the directing. I want to talk about the dialogue. I want to talk about the voice acting, because
oh wow,
these characters are so different,
right?
And their writing it's almost like a different person wrote for each character's dialogue, because their personality, each of them, is so obviously different. Right. Not just like a lot of movies nowadays where everyone has the same personality, The
thing I wanted to say about that is, holy crap, D. Bradley Baker. D. Bradley Baker is the voice actor. He voices all the clones. All of them. He voiced... If you look it up on IMDb, it's up next to his name. Like, you look at the cast that says D. Bradley Baker, and then it says The Bad Batch. It doesn't even say all the characters. He is The Bad Batch. He does all the characters, and almost all of the scenes in this show so far have been scenes where each character of The Bad Batch are talking to each other. So I am blown away by how amazing D. Bradley Baker is.
I thought you were talking about like the other clones. You're talking about the Bad Batch. They're all the same person.
Yes. All of the Bad Batch are the same person.
I don't know if you can tell I got chills.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, man.
Right.
You watch, man, woman, whatever. You watch this freaking show, you will be impressed by the voice acting, the writing of the dialogue.
Yes.
You'll be impressed by. There wasn't one point where I was like, oh well, that's like cheap writing, or that's a little cheap little movie trick,
hokey. None of it was.
Yeah,
hokey.
it was. There was no part where I was like, this is another reason I was so frustrated. I was like, I have to like pay attention. I can't like I just the kind of person I am. Maybe it's the average viewer. Maybe I'm different, but I'll put something on. Typically, I just zone out because they're talking about stuff that I just don't care about.
Especially
playing on my phone.
Harder when you don't have a lot of the.
Yeah,
context.
so I'm like, and honestly, like I was talking to my wife. We got pets and stuff. I was doing things around the house, and I had to rewind because I'm like, I have to soak up everything. I can't miss anything of this, especially the first episode.
Yeah.
I failed miserably. Sorry, guys. The second episode, I did not do very well. I was worn out. I've been spending just today trying to finish the first one and understand it. The second one, I was just like, I don't care. I just want it to be over. I was playing on my phone. It was still good.
And I didn't feel that way at all. I was enthralled the whole time because they already hooked me with how good the characters are. Each character is like fleshed out, completely understand where they're coming from. It's like
this is the kind of backstory you do, and they were able to somehow do it for me, a guy that's obviously not. I think they do a pretty good job of like, if you're a newcomer, they basically try to explain who everybody is, why they are the way they are, and then if you don't know the show already, then you're probably good, yeah. But like, it wasn't too expositionary. I'm supposing in your perspective.
Well, it helped that they'd already established them in Clone Wars.
Sure.
I think that really did a lot of good. Specifically, the characters that really impressed me, and I'm not going to go into what they did or anything like that, but Hunter is a great character.
Oh, I love Hunter.
He's like pretty much the leader, and he's basically like John Rambo in clone form. If you look
they hint pretty hard that he's Rambo in the second episode.
100%. Yeah. Wrecker is great. He is such a good character, and he's not. You think he's just the big dumb one, but there's so much more to him than that. And then I like Tech. Tech is funny.
The whole.
I'm going through my brain like all of the different things.
Well,
characters.
I kind of want to just wrap it up for the people that haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, because we're dangerous.
We haven't. Yeah. I don't think we spoiled anything. Thank goodness. So
let's just go with our ratings for right now.
Sure.
For
Okay.
the people who are going to turn it off.
All right. So especially because I think we have two really good perspectives for two different kinds of demographics that are going to watch the show. So
Right.
So for me, I'm not very. I don't remember too well everything, but I'm still able
you give
to.
Your perspective on our Yerk rating for a non. I don't want to say non-Star Wars fan, but
I'm like a soft Star Wars fan.
Non-fanboy. How about that?
Yeah, like I don't hate Star Wars, and there's certain things I freaking love about it, and I think that's the draw. I don't know, but I think that's the draw, and that's why they make so much money. They get so many audience members because certain things, lightsabers, space battles, they're amazing. Anyway, so for me, I would say, as a newcomer, try to pay attention. If you just zone out, it's not going to be as good. You'll still appreciate certain things. There's certain battles you're like, oh sweet. But really try to pay attention, and I think if you can stick through it, and then you start getting to know everybody and the story, it's absolutely amazing. I was blown away. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes, why I was blown away. But, okay, man. So I would say, especially because like the past 2 years of movie quality in general, I want to give us a higher score because I really want to appreciate writing.
Right.
Please, guys, in movies nowadays, make the writing better.
Yes.
I know the visuals are important. Pay your writers more, please, because good Lord, I appreciate it. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna give this. I really want to give it an 8 or a 9. I don't know. I'm fresh on it. It's hard for me. I probably need to watch it more. 8.5. There we go. All right. What do you think, pal? Out of 10, obviously.
Right, out of 10. So I'm coming at it from a different perspective than that. I'm coming at it from a fanboy, from a person who's everything but the books, basically, for Star Wars. I soak it all in. So as someone who has seen all of the previous stuff, so I had a better setting for it. With the writing, with the acting, again, the dialogue is really good. I got to give it a solid 9. Because
no argument for me. Absolutely amazing.
It feeds into so well the already pre-established Star Wars lore. In a lot of the same way that The Mandalorian does. where it just takes the established lore and it builds on it. And it also finds new wrinkles to stuff that we've already seen that is just so good and so well established. I'm going to go ahead and say a solid 9 for me out of 10.
All right. Also, I want to say, and this is going to be an issue for a lot of audience members, do you think it's worth subscribing to Disney Plus? We're not sponsored by them. We're
not sponsored
lowly
by them.
YouTube guys.
No, we have no real authority. We want to.
But that's going to be an issue for a
not.
lot of people with all these streaming service shows and movies. So, what do you think?
I think it is.
I think it's worth. I don't know how much Disney is right now. $10 maybe
For
a
Star
month?
Wars stuff, because if you do it, it's Clone Wars, it's Rebels, it's Bad Batch, which is what
I'm
we're
gonna
talking
watch.
about,
I'm gonna watch Clone Wars and Rebels
and
because of this show. Actually,
it's Mandalorian, and then obviously all the Star Wars movies. So if you're a Star Wars fan as much as I am, it is 100% worth it to get.
What if they don't watch any of this stuff?
And just Bad Batch?
But I'm gonna watch our review. They kind of want to watch Bad Batch right now. It's rough, right?
If
That's
you're
a
not
tough
if
decision.
you're not a hardcore Star Wars fan, I would say definitely don't
Trial?
illegally stream it.
Trial membership.
Or a week-long trial.
Give
You
a
can
trial
wa-
membership.
You can watch all of the Bad Batch in a week.
Hey, a lot of people
Wait till
nowadays.
it all comes out.
Yep,
then
they
watch
do
it.
that.
Just
There you
wait till
go.
it all comes out. Then get the
I don't know if your
free
friends are going to
weekly
spoil it for
subscription.
you. That's always an issue when
Yeah.
you wait for things because
That's kind
everyone's
of-
just
I've
rushing
run
to
into
watch
that a lot.
everything as soon as something comes out.
I have a hard time with spoilers and spoiling things.
So yeah, 8.5 and 9. I think.
not bad.
I think we're good for the first part of the episode.
Yeah. So at this point, what we would like everybody to do is, if you have not watched,
Go watch it.
If you haven't watched Bad Batch yet, go
Oh
away.
wait! Before you go,
no,
you
what?
guys that are leaving, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment.
Oh,
leave,
shoot,
leave a bell.
yes.
We gotta do 2 endings, I guess.
I guess we got to do 2 endings.
This is the first ending. YouTube overlords algorithm.
Right. To appease our YouTube overlords, what we have to do now is, if you liked this, if you like the way we do things, if you like how it's just a conversation between two dudes underneath a blanket,
Kinda weird.
with beers,
Yeah, beer,
in
it's
bed, early in the morning, late at night,
Looks like a couch.
however you want to do it. It's definitely not a couch.
It's definitely not a couch, guys.
But if you like what we do here and you like listening to us two knuckleheads talk about nerd stuff, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever we drop these. We do them pretty consistently on the week, but we
the
might
bell.
be doing more.
Is that
That's
good?
the bell.
This is
That's
the bell.
the bell. Well, yeah. All right. So
Okay, yeah. So everybody leave. Now we're on to the people that want to hear about.
not everyone, just the people who
Oh yeah.
haven't
Oh,
watched
sorry.
it yet.
Okay.
Please don't leave yet. We're doing this.
All right. Spoiler territory.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
alert.
Womp womp.
Womp,
Black.
womp,
Terrible.
brr,
Sorry.
brr,
Bop,
brr,
bop,
brr.
brr,
Danger,
no.
danger, Will Robinson.
Danger. Show is ruined now. Get ready?
Wrong universe, but Danger will Rob. Never mind.
Battlestar Galactica beats Bears.
God.
Dwight. Jim.
No, dude, it's Lost in Space. It's not Battlestar. Anyway, spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm embarrassed because I
you
don't know
haven't
Lost in
watched
Space.
This is why you don't understand Bad Batch. Because you don't know anything. You say you're a nerd, but you're not. You just know
I don't have the
superheroes.
attention span to be a nerd. You know how much nerd stuff there is right now?
You should have been paying attention the whole time.
There's like
I was.
I needed to be like
You're a
invested
loser
in
high
nerd
school,
stuff.
like I was, so that you're appreciating things.
Oh yeah, well, did you play Final Fantasy? You know how many hours you can put into Final Fantasy? There's multiple of them.
No, I didn't play video games. I know that makes me lose nerd cred, but I've watched almost everything when it comes to superheroes and Star Wars. So don't test
And
me.
he also read comic books, I think.
I read a lot of comic
I've only read a
books.
couple.
I've
I've
read a
read
lot of
Star Wars
comic
comics. Star Wars comics.
Like 1 or 2, not a lot.
Have you? I think you said you didn't read any Star Wars books.
No.
I have heard they're amazing.
No, I have
I
a
heard
friend
they're
who
way
loaned
better
me-
than shows and movies, honestly.
I have a friend who loaned me a
Typical
bunch
for
of them.
books.
Who was really upset when Disney basically said they don't exist anymore. Anyway, okay, so if you're sticking
They're
around,
not canon anymore, but
if
yeah.
you've stuck around through all that mess, cheers.
Dumpster fire.
It's not a dumpster
Welcome
fire.
again
It's
for
fine.
part 2.
Welcome to part 2. This is the spoiler portion of the review of the Bad Batch, where we're
Ruin
going
the
to
show for you.
We're going to ruin it.
We've
if
probably
you-
just fallen asleep and the
if
show's
you
still
stuck
playing.
Around,
We still get the money, so it's fine.
if you stuck around, we gave you literally every opportunity.
Minutes! Full on minutes.
We give you every opportunity not to. Okay, so spoilery part now.
They let the kid go.
They let the kid go.
Not they, but a person let the kid go.
Did you? We're doing spoilers. You might as well just say who it was.
That's fair.
Hunter.
Hunter. His name is Hunter. What a
okay.
massive failure.
Okay.
Your one job is to hunt, and you just mess it up.
Okay, so...
because he's a Jedi, because he's a kid, because he's like a kid of the
It
general.
has nothing to do with that.
There's different...
Well, it does, but okay, so...
Oh, you probably know because Bad Batch... Well, because Clone Wars stuff.
Yes, okay. So one of the great things that this show does, it picks up on, that Clone Wars did, was it shows and it builds why... One, the Clone Wars show did such an amazing job at building the character relationships between the Jedi and certain clones, like Captain Rex, Cody. You have all these clones.
I wrote Captain Rex down. I don't know who it is, but
he's like
part of the story.
He's the most popular clone in Clone Wars, basically. He's like the leader, the one who's like the clone who is...
Isn't most of Clone Wars just about Anakin and Obi-Wan?
Yes and no. There's a lot of other stuff too.
Are we spoiling Clone Wars or not really? I don't even know.
I don't want to spoil.
We're in gray territory, I guess. Yeah, we're not going to spoil Clone Wars. Sorry.
Bad Batch. I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, just Bad Batch. Sorry.
But anyway, what I'm saying is, there's so many strong relationships between the clones and the Jedi, and what is really powerful about this is like one of the first things that happens, I think within the first 5-10 minutes of Clone Wars, or not Clone Wars, Bad Batch.
The first 7 minutes is like crazy exposition. It was hard for me. I took so many notes in 7 minutes. Insane. Sorry. Beer.
That's fine. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to get to is they've got these amazing relationships between the Jedi and the clones, and at the very beginning of the episode, they have like this battle where you introduce the Bad Batch, and you get to see just
and they're awesome.
How good they are in combat and how well they work
fantastic.
Together.
The robots. Can we talk about the robots? I don't know what their technical name is, but they're hilarious.
Droids.
Sorry. He's so mad at me. Droids Herrera. Come on.
God.
Remember it was like hold your position, and then the giant like rock like just bulldozes them all down.
Where are the Cylons? This is Battlestar Galactica.
No, hold on. There was that also one scene where he's like, I'm the leader now, and they just instantly gets killed. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All this cute little like droid
they always
dialogue.
have funny voices.
Was that like Clone Wars? Okay, yeah. Absolutely amazing.
It's just Star Wars in general. They always make fun of the battle droids because they're basically useless.
They're like programmed to be funny, I guess. Like be funny.
I don't know why they have personalities. I don't know whose design flaw it was to give personalities to the droids that are just going to get shot in the face.
At least they don't have Jar Jar Binks personalities. That'd be kind of awkward.
That'd be terrible. Anyway, I know. I swear to God, I'm going to get to this point eventually. So the clones and the Jedi have really good relationships. Within the first 7 minutes of the show, Order 66 happens. And you see
I was so excited.
The Jedi, who's like the main one who's there when the Bad Batch gets there. Oh, by the way, side note.
That part's so sad.
I'm going to get sidetracked here as well.
Hold on, can we talk about that girl's name, the one that got killed in the beginning? Her name is hilarious. Depa or something, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Depa.
Well, she got shot a lot, so it really doesn't matter what her name is.
She dodged like 100 shots.
She really lasted.
Before one droid on accident like shot the freaking lightsaber out of her hand. She's like, oh, well, I guess.
It was the clones at that point.
Oh, that was the clones.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because Order 66 has happened. If you'd seen the prequels within the last 20 years.
No, I remember that part though, because I was like, oh crap, Order 66. I was so excited.
Order 66 is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Because like even though I was like kind of checked out for a lot of prequels because so much political talk and trade wars and that kind of stuff, when Order 66 happens, it was like, oh crap, poop hit the fan, and you have to watch all these heroes die like at once.
And it's like, all right. And if you see that, and if you're going in order and you watch Clone Wars before you watch Revenge of the Sith, that scene with Order 66 hits you so hard. Because you have grown, they have had episode-long arcs of each of these Jedi, and you're seeing them just get slaughtered. And it is, oh man. And especially here, because I'm going to let you in on a secret that you haven't heard yet, that little Padawan is the second main character in Rebels.
He seemed very important.
He was. Caleb is called Kanan Jarrus in Rebels. That blew me away whenever he rolled up, and I was like, holy crap, that's Kanan. And I was like, for me, who has watched Rebels, that was awesome. But yeah, so anyway, we get past that, and all all of the clones are now turning on the Jedi, and their whole personalities have flipped because of this inhibitor chip, which they establish in other seasons of the show. But because of the mutations that have happened to the Bad Batch, because they're not pure clones, they're weird versions of clones that have had mutations that they just kind of stuck together, their chips don't work right. So they don't follow Order 66. And one of the first key plot points is Hunter lets Kanan, well, he's called Caleb in this, but he ends up being Kanan. Hunter lets him go. And the only clone on the Bad Batch team who is kind of, his inhibitor chip works somewhat, is Crossfire.
They make it...
Who's a great character, by the way. We didn't talk about him in the previous part, but Crossfire's a great freaking character.
I wouldn't know, because all I know about Crossfire from just this show is...
Well, yeah, because you've only seen...
He's a dick and he wants to follow orders and he's all about the Empire. It's kind of confusing because I'm like, but why though? I mean, like, you just found out the Republic changed to the Empire.
Yeah.
Which I had to look up, like, what exactly is the difference between the Republic and the Empire? It's basically for the people, from what I read. The Republic is more for the people, and then the Empire is basically ran by, like, a person or an entity.
So, the best way I could see it is there's the Republic, which is basically a democracy.
Right.
So because there's senators.
Because the whole prequels had, well, most of the prequels had a democracy.
They had a Senate, they had all this stuff. The Empire, once it transitions to the Empire, there's one guy calling the shots, and it is a fascist dictatorship. And also, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, is this show, because it's from ground level, and it kind of does what Rogue One did to a certain extent.
Yes, you get more of a first-person.
A first-person view of what the Empire really does.
As opposed to just a narrative,
Because before, it's just, you hear the Rebel Alliance talking about this stuff in their base.
It's really interesting how you see, like, each kind of personality and character, like, react to this news. But then it's almost kind of cheapened because you're like, oh, well, they have this freaking either inhibitor chip or they're just like designed a certain way, so it's kind of frustrating because a lot of times you're not getting human like reactions. You're just getting like either droids or not droids, but like either clones or augmented clones reacting.
Well, the augmented clones are basically their own people. They're very individual, and that's part of why. Hold on. Their reactions to what's happening in the Republic or the Empire now, and just slowly watching this empirical fascist takeover of all of these planets that governed themselves before this. And you're seeing the Empire slowly like just put the hammer down to the point where, like, in episode 2, they were coding everyone so that they were giving them numbers that they had to use to like pay for anything, making them switch to a universal currency, empirical currency.
Yeah. I saw that.
They were confiscating ships.
So it was really dark. So there's a lot of really dark, like,
they couldn't leave the planet.
Corrupt government type stuff.
They couldn't leave the planet without Empire permission.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Who was the person?
You never got this in Star Wars, and that's part of what I like about it so much, is you're seeing what the Empire really was. Why did people rebel?
Maybe
Not
Star
just
Wars...
because it's an empire, why did they rebel? And this show has so far been really building on that.
It makes me wonder if maybe Star Wars shouldn't worry so much about, I swear, like, especially the new sequels to Star Wars, they're trying to cram so much, they're trying to make sure it has the right plot twist and the right, all this stuff, but if you just get people... Like the prequels, just get people to like watch it kind of like a trailer, and then start unloading these shows that just reference the movies, fill in the gaps. Because man, like I apologize, I don't know when Mandalorian takes place.
After Return of the Jedi.
After Return of the Jedi.
Yes. So the Empire has been defeated.
Okay. So so the Mandalorian is just, I mean, it's a lot more like slowed down. It's a lot more like, I don't know what you call it, tone setting, I guess. Which I like it gives you environments to like establishing shots, and it gives you, it lets you know the vibe of stuff, as opposed to just kind of like throwing a bunch of cool crap at you or whatever. That's one of the big issues of why I don't rewatch Star Wars films. Hey, Matrix, I'm okay, sure I didn't watch Matrix a whole bunch of times, sorry to deviate. Yeah. But there's a certain part in the Matrix when
you stopped watching?
No. So there's a certain part of the Matrix when he says, we need guns. And then like the scene happens when they start getting the guns. I used to watch. I don't watch movies or shows more than once. I would watch from that part of the movie all the way to the end, probably about 100 times, because it was just nonstop,
Right.
like a masterpiece of filmmaking. And I feel like if they spend more time trying to do that, obviously you don't have to make a masterpiece, but if you just go in that direction, shoot for the stars, I'll watch a movie over and over again. But if there's just so many plot holes or so many little things that bother me, like the new Star Wars movies, I'm not going to want to rewatch them.
I feel like recently what they've been doing is making shows and movies, like Rogue One specifically, and then Clone Wars, especially later seasons of Clone Wars, Rebels, and Mandalorian. It's just like, how best can we fill in plot holes? Like, because there's so many things that didn't make sense.
The sequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy. I don't know how you feel about this. We've talked about it maybe, but do you feel like, okay, so J.J. Abrams had a vision of the whole 3 movies and the first movie, and then
he handed it over to somebody else.
Then he handed it over to somebody else. I'm not actually sure why. Was J.J. Abrams doing Star Trek? Is that why?
I don't know.
I don't know why he left. Anyway, Rian Johnson took over the second film, and Rian Johnson had a certain vision, but I legit feel that Rian Johnson didn't have a vision for the third film. And that's insulting.
If you're making a franchise, you need, and I feel about this, any franchise. Marvel does it right, DC doesn't, and that really upsets me, but that's another video. We'll get into that, trust me.
The next DC thing we do, we'll rip apart DC for sure.
I have a lot of thoughts.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But Star Wars needs their Kevin Feige, their guy who is his sole job.
I wonder how many of us feel this way. I feel like this is a common desire.
If you're making a franchise, there has to be one person making sure everything lines up.
Hey, there's a lot of people that have issues with Kevin Feige. They go, oh, well, you know, he plays it too safe, and all the movies feel the same, and blah, blah. But at least there's continuity. I appreciate that.
Do you sacrifice sometimes directors having full autonomy over their movie?
It's happened.
People People have
fired.
left their movies.
Edward Norton.
Edgar Wright didn't.
Well, Edward Norton wasn't even director.
No,
but he still got kicked.
Wright, the director of Thor, the original director of Thor: The Dark World, they left, but they sacrificed those visions to maintain continuity.
Was that the one he was supposed to write, Edgar Wright? He was supposed to write Thor: The Dark World?
Ant-Man.
Oh, sorry. Edgar Wright's amazing. If you don't know, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Oh man, Baby Driver. Doesn't matter.
Alert.
Sorry, go ahead.
Tangent alert. But,
sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, getting back to our original topic.
Yeah.
I feel like what they're starting to have is, I think, Dave Filoni, who created the Bad Batch, he was also the writer and worked on the later seasons. I think the later seasons, and definitely season 7 of Clone Wars. He's doing Bad Batch, and he's the co-creator of The Mandalorian.
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like if they want to have Star Wars good going forward, Dave Filoni needs to take control. Or Jon Favreau. Those two worked on Mandalorian. I think Favreau worked on a couple episodes of
I like
Wars.
Bad Batch more than Mandalorian, but I've only seen the first season. But I've only seen one episode of Bad Batch. So
that's
wow. I was blown away by Bad Batch, I'm telling you. I was blown away. So many things are just, hey man, I'm super into making sure that every part of a movie has good quality. It's so hard to do, but it happens sometimes.
The action is great.
The action scenes.
The fight scenes don't feel repetitive.
They're team-up fight scenes, as opposed to just
creative,
they're not cheap fights. It's understand, it's important to have well-thought-out fight scenes. So that way you can maybe judge the strategy of certain fights. A lot of us are into fighting or war strategy.
You see a lot of movies and TV where they're in a gunfight and it always feels the same. Let's get cover, and then they just kind of shoot at each other. And
I want to talk about Suicide Squad for just a second. There's a scene where Will Smith goes like this. That's it. There's no strategy there. He's just standing on a car.
In the heads.
And I'm like, wow, amazing. You've made, Deadshot, right? Yeah, you made Deadshot boring as heck. How amazing.
He should be ricocheting bullets off
he should be doing interesting things. He wants
moving around.
They're like superhumans dang near. They need to impress us. Sorry. You gotta, not stuff that we would,
And there's one, and speaking of that, it's funny that you mentioned Deadshot, because there's an amazing moment, because Crosshair is basically Star Wars Deadshot.
Yes, exactly.
He
This is a jerk. Was his brain, but whatever.
There's this amazing part that finishes one of the fights in the first episode where he goes, Crosshair goes, knife! And you just see him throw a knife up and like Wrecker or Hunter throws his knife in the air and Crosshair shoots it, hits the knife, and it flies into Zoid's head. And I was like, holy crap.
Hold on. What do you mean knife? Oh, I mean, I'm going to throw the knife, Kay. Then you're going to shoot it with electricity. What? Yeah, and then you're also going to shoot electricity and aim it at the same time. Well, you know, I'm pretty much Deadshot, so yeah, there we go. Boom. I was almost hard for a second there that I forgot that I have superhuman shooting abilities.
And that's another part, going into that. The fights have meaning. They're integral to the plot.
They have emotional weight. That's also very important for fight scenes. Make sure it means something.
And they've done such a good job of writing these characters, establishing these characters. You care if they get hit. You care.
I cared about the characters in a few minutes.
I didn't want anything
I didn't even know the Bad Batch.
I felt like something was going to happen to them every fight, and I was just like, no, please, 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 no.
I'm emotionally invested in Crosshair. He's the bad guy at the end of the episode.
He's the
first episode.
He's the antagonist, and I want nothing more than him to come back and be the good guy again. I'm fully invested in these characters. I'm fully invested in the story. I'm going to go ahead and clap. I know it's probably bad for sound, but my God.
Clap. There's the microphone, so clap away from the microphone maybe. There we go. We're impressed, man.
Dave Filoni.
We love movies and shows, so we are so appreciative.
Crafted things.
Who is this guy? I'm sorry.
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni. Thank you so much.
Simping
for Dave Filoni. Probably a different meaning.
Simp for Dave Filoni.
Standing for Dave Filoni.
Hashtag Dave Filoni stan. Let's get that hashtag going. Put that hashtag in the comments. Hashtag in the comments. Hashtag.
Like my shirt.
Hashtag Dave Filoni stan. Please hashtag we stand Dave Filoni.
We're gonna
get this going.
We're gonna internet riot without burning down buildings to make some things happen.
Whatever the equivalent of an Antifa riot is, we're gonna have that.
Oh no, the politics. No, there's no politics anymore.
Politics.
Out the window.
Yeah.
Bottle through the window. Out the window now.
It's all gone now. No politics. I'm sorry.
But we'll keep the riot. Can we keep the riot in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the riot in there. Riot in the internet.
If Filoni
Don't cause any damage.
Over, we riot.
Let's make movies and shows better.
I'm making a sign.
These hashtags are working. Of all things in my 37 years on Earth, hashtags is the things that start saving movies and shows.
Hashtags.
Hashtags aren't even hashtags back then. They're pounds.
It's a pound sign. Oh, I was told not to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. A hashtag is called pound sign. It's also called an octothorpe.
Are you smarter now? Are you thankful?
That's your other word of the day.
Octothorpe?
Octothorpe.
Tell them what this is. Go ahead. Tell them what this is.
It's your dermis. Epidermis.
No, this
your
part.
Weenus?
There you go.
Is that what you
He said weenus.
I said weenus.
Like a pervert.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and conclude the second part. I think we've said everything we need to say about Star Wars, how good this is. Please watch Bad Batch. It is so good. And we need to appreciate and support good nerd media.
Just good quality art.
Just good quality. Support quality so that they don't think that they can just feed us crap and we're going to take it.
Yes, a lot of us are going to eat the crap. It's fine. But the other part of us have to, stay strong and consume the good stuff.
Yes,
so that way they keep feeding us the good stuff.
Anyway, yeah. So like we said earlier in the video, if you like what we have to say about nerd stuff, Star Wars, movies, superheroes, we'll probably cover lots of stuff.
Please come back every week. We're gonna keep doing this thing, and we want a fan base. So like the video. If you liked the video, subscribe, click the bell so that you can know whenever us two are doing this again. We got a new blanket.
What
more do you want from me? But hey, I know
beer.
You're talking to me.
Upgraded from Lone Star to Shiner for you people.
You're talking to me outside the videos, and that's fine. Hey, please, just comment. I'll read all the comments. Put all the stuff you think we should change on there. I'll read it all. Yeah. I'm down. I want to interact with the fan base if we have any.
But yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And then I think that's it.
That's it.
Beers up.
Yep. Beers
Wave.
Up.
This will be all sign off. Pause and smile.
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile away,
Smile
boys.
and wave.